Stocks, bonds, ETFs, straight out of downtown Chicago. This is Zach's Market Edge.
Welcome to Zach's Market Edge, the podcast about investing in your life. I'm your host, Tracy Reinick, and this week I'm joined by Zach's very own Maddie Johnson, the editor of Zach's Income Investor and a stock strategist here at Zach's, to do our annual podcast about retail, of course. Usually we do this podcast the week after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but this year we're doing it before because there's no doubt what this year is going to be like. It's going to be the best holiday season for the retailers ever. We don't even have to wait for any of the data to come in from all the sales. We already know. Families are gathering again. People are attending parties. They're going out for New Year's. Here in Chicago, the Christkindl market has returned for its 25th anniversary here. The German market, people are traveling. They're buying stuff at all these kinds of events. They need a new swimsuit if they're going to the beach. They need that ski jacket because they're going to go skiing. But which retailers will be the big winners? They all have been big winners so far, but we're going to see if maybe there's some that might have an edge in some areas and whether or not it's too late to invest because, my gosh, a lot of these stocks are up huge, but a lot of them aren't that expensive here on a PE basis or even a PEG basis. So, Maddie, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So I have I have two personal email accounts. I have a Yahoo and a Gmail, and I never check them over the weekend. I always clear them out on Mondays, which is when we're recording, of course. My Yahoo account had 500 emails in it this morning.
Wow.
It was all about Black Friday mega deals, how you can shop early. We're giving you 30% off, 25% off. It doesn't matter. And I was so overwhelmed. And I shouldn't be because I love shopping for the holidays. I shop every year on Black Friday. But this year especially, it felt like there was almost a sense of a different kind of urgency to the email marketing this year. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, retail's, the next 5 weeks or so are just going to be insane for every kind of retailer. It doesn't matter if it's a Macy's or Nordstrom or a Target or a Costco, Home Depot, the furniture retailers. It doesn't matter because it's just people want to, consumer sentiment is still pretty positive despite concerns about, inflation and the supply chain. People still want to spend their money. And I don't think that's going to change over, throughout this holiday season.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I think people are willing and ready to embrace the shopping this year. They're maybe even tired of online shopping. I know we've talked in the past about the demise of Black Friday and that, it's not as big a deal anymore as it used to be. And a lot of the Black Friday sales have already begun and we're not even close really to the Black Friday. But I still feel like there could be a resurgence on Black Friday this year of people just going to the malls just because they can and they want to.
Yeah, I know. I saw today that Target is going to remain closed on Thanksgiving again this year, and they probably will for the foreseeable future. But and I think that was a good retail change from last year and over the last few years, where maybe we don't have to actually shop on a day like Thanksgiving where we're supposed to spend time with our family and we're grateful or whatever. But like you said, this year we can still do that, but we can also get up at 6 a.m. on Friday and go out to our favorite stores because I don't want to, shop online anymore and maybe just guess at what I like or what my size is or what, I should get for my friends and family. I can go with them and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And get kind of on demand, in person kind of feedback.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, I'm even thinking of just going out there on Black Friday.
I know.
Even though I like don't have an agenda, because I do like to see what the energy is like and what people are buying. And you can still get some incredible deals that I feel the retailers are holding back to only put forward on like Friday morning.
So we're going to get true like doorbuster deals.
Yeah. I feel, I've been on Macy's app the last couple of weeks. They've already started a lot of their doorbuster type things, but I feel on the Black Friday day, they will have, maybe even slightly better than what they've already put out there.
Yeah. I also am interested in maybe in like shopping on Black Friday, and then like this like coming weekend, it's just like the Saturday and Sunday after Thanksgiving, of course, are crazy busy shopping days too. But I think it's going to be interesting and probably even more panicky and hectic in store than it normally is, because so many retailers are having such a hard time filling all of the positions that they need to run a store.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if let's say even if you just go to like the Macy's or a Target or a Nordstrom or whatever, like what is it going to even be like shopping? Is it going to be hard and like difficult because like you can't even find someone to like help like ring you out? Or is it going to be better than we think? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I do know I just went this prior weekend, so the weekend before the Black Friday, to a local shopping mall here in Chicago area. And I was in the Macy's there, and they were still, even before the official start of everything, it was fairly short-staffed in some areas, but it's like the areas they've always been short-staffed in, like shoes. Like at the Macy's,
of course,
it's
literally
always bad there.
Anyone, like there's never enough people in any department store shoe section.
Correct.
Never.
So correct. But I felt like in the beauty and some of the other areas, they had a ton of people, just like
good.
About. So that part was good. Yeah. So it's unclear, if they're doing okay on the hiring side. And then I did see some, we're hiring signs still on a few of the doors of the various stores and things, but they're coming up against the start of it all, so they better have their personnel in place. That's for sure here.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you think about the stocks here? Some of the hot retailers that we've discussed in the past remain red hot. Like I looked at Lululemon's chart before we came on this podcast. Those shares are up 33% year to date, but the forward PE is now 62. So it's very pricey here. On StockTwits, I get, endless barrage of, it's overpriced yoga pants, like all those guys saying, waiting for it to crash. But it's clearly a growth stock. It's not a value. That much is clear. But it's been like the leader of retail on the women's side, but now somewhat on the men's side too, for, even pre-pandemic. So for several years now. But is it too late to get into like a stock like that? Should I be waiting to see if it does have some kind of bigger, pullback here, or should I just join the party? Like give it up and just join it?
Yeah, I guess it always like depends right on how you feel about high flying growth stocks, because like those like dudes on StockTwits, they will have no problem buying a high fly tech stock with the same PE ratio and the same growth rate, right?
Correct.
It's because it's a retail stock and they don't quote unquote believe that it can grow anymore. Whereas athleisure is going to be the dominating trend in retail. It has been for the last 10 years. It will be for the next 15. Hot take, maybe. But like now that I'm working from home, I don't want to sit at my desk in jeans. It's like, it sounds like the most uncomfortable thing for 8 hours to do. I want to be in cute leggings and a professional top, right?
Yeah.
But like I guess Lululemon, yes, it is expensive relatively to other type of retailers, but when you're the dominating force in fashion, I mean, you can always like tell yourself that it will be a good stock. Like, and I personally think it is a good stock.
Okay. It hasn't reported earnings yet, and it won't until early December at some
Yeah,
point.
they're always one of the late ones.
Yeah. So we don't know yet what's happening with their holiday season, and even what's happening, like, internationally with them. Once they're in like Austria and Germany and stuff too. So, there's still COVID outbreaks going on. And so with some of these more globalish type retailers, that's something to keep in mind too. Okay, so since you mentioned the jeans, what do you make of some of the big jeans makers, like American Eagle, which calls itself the biggest, manufacturer of jeans, I guess now in the US is what they're promoting themselves as. But they also have the Aerie, the super hot lingerie chain. So those shares are up pretty good year to date, but they pulled back in the last 3 months and they're cheap. They're trading at just 12 times. So is that a play more on, kids back to school because they're going to wear the jeans, or back to college? Same thing. Is that why I should be interested in American Eagle, or should I not be? I guess that's a question too.
I feel like if you want a pure play jean maker, I like Levi Strauss, LEVI,
Okay.
a little more.
Okay.
Just because of they've been dipping their toes into the resale market. They have like a dedicated resale site where you can buy secondhand Levi, like jeans, denim jackets, denim, all kinds. That, I mean, right now, that's like the style. It's like that Levi and like Wrangler, oddly, are very like on trend right now in
Wait a minute.
denim.
Wait, hold on. Wrangler?
Yes.
You just said Wrangler? I can't believe this. Why didn't I keep my old ones from like 30 years ago?
This is the rule. Like every time I see Gen Z talk about like a hot like denim brand from 25 years ago, I'm like, I will never sell a pair of jeans again, just because like they're like the cut, right? They're a little high-waisted. They're a straight leg. They're not a skinny leg. They're not going to cling to you.
Hey.
And they're going to be a little bit shapeless, right? They're not going to give you like any lifting or sculpting technology. They're just kind of going to be jeans.
Right. So wait a minute. So if the Wranglers are back in, does that mean like Calvins might be back in? Because those were like around the same era.
Here's the thing. If Calvin makes if the cut is right, I would have no doubt if like a retailer like Urban Outfitters, that is like, that's where like it's like Gen Z central. I always like look at Urban when I'm like figuring out like, am I too old to wear a trend this cool?
So wait, does Urban carry the Wranglers then? They're carrying that?
I want to say yes. I'm going to check right now.
Okay.
But I like American Eagle. I think their denim, same with Abercrombie's denim right now. It's really good. It's a good price.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, sometimes some of Levi's jeans like can get really pricey. And I think American Eagle is priced a little bit under that. Same with Abercrombie. Actually, some of their jeans can go for over $100, and that is expensive.
Yeah.
But I do like that American Eagle has been expanding into like premium denim. So instead of like you pay $70 for, yes, you're going to pay $150, $160 for a pair of jeans.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think
I want to say it was like $260 when I went on the site, and I was like, Yeah. And then I went away. I surged away after I saw it was $260.
So one of my favorite denim brands is A Goldie. Their like standard prices is similar to what American Eagle is pricing their premium denim at.
Okay.
So that tells me that like they want to go after that customer base, that customer base that wouldn't normally shop at American Eagle. Maybe they're more of a Revolve customer, right? They're comfortable paying $170, $180 for a pair of jeans. But okay, so I just checked. Urban Outfitters does indeed carry Wrangler. They have the denim jackets. They have the corduroy flare pants. They have the Wrangler Heritage Wild West high-waisted straight jean, vintage regular jeans. They have it all, Tracy. They have it all.
No, say it isn't so. Oh no. I know Anthropology, Urban Outfitters, other like kind of little higher price point brand
Yeah.
carries a lot of the Levi's, but I don't know if they carry the Wranglers. I'm scared to find out now. They may too.
I would say this is the total guess, but I feel like Free People, which is also under the Urban umbrella,
Yeah,
they would carry Wrangler more
that
than
makes sense.
Anthropology would carry
Yeah.
Wrangler.
Yeah, that does make some sense.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't reported earnings yet either, but I think they're reporting on the day we're recording this. So we're going to find out, what is working for them over there too. I know a lot of their stuff appears to be like on back order. That's another thing with a lot of these apparel retailers. You might want an item and, there might be demand for it, but you might not be able to get it in time for the holidays or even, I don't know. I was on Athleta's website and I saw like this super cute hoodie that I was like, oh, this is fun. And I click on it and it said it's back ordered until February 12th.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to impact a lot of the apparel retailers either. Some of us would be willing, if it's not a gift and we just want it for ourselves, we're willing to wait to get it in January, February. So
okay, I have a question about back orders. Now, when let's say like you really wanted that sweatshirt, so you buy it today, but it's not going to ship until February. Does that, I know like with back orders, if you use your whatever like credit or debit card you use to pay online, the back you actually don't pay for the item until it ships.
Correct.
So it feels like a lot of these back ordered purchases that may happen this holiday season, the retailers actually won't see the impact until the following quarter, right? So like Q1 2022. That's when it's going to take effect.
Yeah, if it's like that athletic top where they actually ship it to me in February, that would be in their fiscal first quarter. If it ships in January, there was a top from Anthropology I was clicked on, and that one said like January 8th or something. That one is still in their fiscal fourth quarter, so it'd still count for this quarter.
Got it.
But yeah, a lot of it could be pulled forward, and you could see that with some of the furniture retailers because they have the same thing, and they have really long backlogs. I went to a furniture retailer over this last weekend here in Chicago area, but not one of the national publicly traded ones. But they were telling us that even in-stock items are about 3 months to get the in-stock ones. And then if you wanted anything customized, it was 6 to 7 months until delivered. But nobody's canceling it. And Williams and Sonoma said this on their conference call recently, that they're not losing orders and their cancellation rate has remained pretty steady because they're all in this predicament. So even if I'm like, screw XYZ, I'm going over here to Crate and Barrel or wherever, like they're going to tell me the same thing. So I might as well just put the order in and then I have to wait.
And just wait it out. So I shared on this podcast I think last year when I moved into my new apartment, it was probably this year, because when I bought all my new like bedroom furniture. Of course, everything was back ordered. Not one thing was in stock when maybe my lamp was the one thing I ordered and it was in stock. My nightstand, I ordered everything at the beginning of May. Right. My nightstand was on back order until November, but that was actually the first thing to ship. So I got that like in June or whatever. The last thing it wasn't bad. The last thing I ordered was a new quilt and shams. Okay. And that was that got really pushed back. It was like month after month. Like I just got it a few weeks ago.
Wow.
So, but like I never canceled it. I thought about canceling, but I was looking, also on West Elm, Pottery Bar, and Crate and Barrel. I'm like, okay, well, if I want the same type of quilt, it's still going to be 2 months from the day I order it. And then that 2 month could just be pushed back to 4 months or 5 months. So I might as well just keep going.
Right. Keep the order in there and then hope for the best that it shows up earlier, as some things are. I know Williams and Sonoma also said on their conference call that they've really worked with like their customer service agents to, try to give the best customer experience for when, they do have to either call you or send you an email stating that it's delayed further and, giving the customer options if they want to cancel, please call us or all that stuff.
Yeah.
I know I've gotten many even just from apparel retailers, I've gotten emails like updating me on, oh, we're sorry, this is still delayed. You can cancel with no, problems if you want. Here's where you can do it. And I feel like that does make me feel better because I don't know. It is working, whatever their marketing and customer service
also,
is.
people can get mad at a customer service agent all they want, but they know as much as you do. Like they know as much as we do. Right. They only see what's on their computer screen. And it's not like they're deciding, okay, well, Maddie, she was kind of mean to me on the phone, so I'm putting her to the back of the queue. This is just like not how it works. It's like you're going to be number 5. You're the 5th customer that ordered it, right? And in whatever like algorithm that they use, you're going to get it when you get it. They can't tell you anything other than that. Yeah.
Right. What do you think about the, pandemic winners? And then a lot of investors on Wall Street figured that those winners in the retail side were done. Peak earnings, that's over, like the furniture guys or Best Buy or even like, the sporting goods dudes. Like, oh, everybody bought everything when the economy is reopening. We don't need any of that stuff. So they're done. But now it appears that they're not done. Like the demand for whatever they're making is still going on. Like for some reason, we're still buying laptops and we're still doing all this stuff, even with the economy reopening. What do you think of those types of stocks? Is there a buying opportunity for some of them that have pulled back a little bit? Some have not pulled back. I took a look at Dick's. It did pull back briefly, like a couple of weeks ago, and now it's back up near its all-time high, heading into its earnings report, and it's up 150% year to date still. But it still has the demand. The demand is still there. But what do I do as a stock investor? Do I want to get into Dick's at this point? I don't know. It feels kind of too late for some of those.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just pulled up Dick's chart right now. I didn't realize it was up this much year to date because it had such a good year last year.
I know.
So that is quite the shock to me. It's like whenever I look at Macy's, I've been writing about Macy's a lot for Zacks.com, and I just find it such a fascinating story in like the retail sector. It was really, it had been beaten down before the pandemic, really. Yeah. And then all of a sudden this year, it just took off, right?
Now, let's talk about Macy's for a second, because you have been looking into it, and I've kind of been, but not as much as you. But is it because they've managed to expand, like, what types of products they have? Like, I was just chatting with my one of my sisters-in-law, and she was going on about how she loves Macy's this year. She's literally ordered like half of all her gifts off of Macy's. Wow. Like the app is easy to use, and she never has before. And the app is easy. They have very good, like the doorbusters and sales. They have things in stock, which is huge. And it's things that are like in the big name brands, like, that we were mentioning some of them already, but like Nike, Skechers, like you can get the items off of Macy's. Yeah. They seem really well prepared for this holiday season, and they just have a lot of hot brands now that they may not carry in the store. It's only online, but that's okay. I don't care. Is that where Macy's is finally turning the corner here? Is that they're embracing the marketplace, but they have become maybe more of a marketplace type company now?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that Macy's like carrying like hot brands in retail is always going to benefit like them. Like they're gonna like be able to like craft an image that's more than just like wedding registries and like bed linens and like where your mom shops. Like it can finally be like kind of like a hot retailer. And I know I was reading their earnings press release last week. I think that's when it came out.
Yeah.
They're finally taking steps to create a third-party marketplace, kind of like
Yeah.
what Amazon and Target is doing, where they'll
Right.
sell items on their site from third parties, which has been a massive success for Amazon. I
Yeah.
don't know about Target, but I'm sure it's only benefiting Target. So why
Right.
not Macy's, right? Like
Yeah.
that's like such an easy thing to like help boost sales and like in their digital footprint. But I
Yeah.
also think it's like the management team is just like they finally get it. Like they finally like
Yeah.
listened and saw the competition just absolutely trouncing Macy's and they just are making really good executive decisions to try and like, you know, grow
Yeah.
business again. Macy's is an iconic name. Like people,
Right.
I mean, people are always going to recognize Macy's, and especially like once international tourism starts picking back up, international business travel starts picking back up. When people come to the U.S. and like big cities like Chicago, New York, San Francisco, LA, like they see a Macy's, they're like, oh, I know that
Yeah.
store. Like I
Yeah.
can go in there and find like a whatever and like
Yeah.
no. Versus some other stores might not have that name what's the word? Name.
Recognition. Yeah.
Thank you. Recognition. I was
Yeah.
gonna say another one and that I was like, that's not a word in the English language. And and I mean, people have been, wanting to buy. It's like the demand for apparel too is super hot right now. Like as you kind of said at the beginning of the episode, like people are going to parties, people are going, they're celebrating like outside of their homes this year, at restaurants, at like big galas and events. Like they want new clothes, and Macy's is always going to be a resource for people everywhere. And
Yeah.
what's nice about Macy's is they have a really good price, like they have a wide price range. You can spend a lot of money there, but you can also get something for $50 if you want to.
Correct. Yes. Yes. I agree. So those shares are up 200% now year to date, but I don't think they're even back to their 5-year high yet.
No,
So
I think they just their post earnings rally. I think they just managed to crack their 3-year high.
okay.
So I think there's some room to run with Macy's.
Okay. All right. Wow. This is the first time we've been like kind of bullish on like the department stores.
Yeah.
and that one in particular. So kudos to all those people who did buy in on the lows or who've been long suffering Macy's fans over the last couple of years, where the stock didn't go anywhere but down, and they stuck with it, and it's paying off.
Well, and another good example of a department store making like good strategic decision was Kohl's decision to partner with Sephora and have Sephora shop in shops in Kohl's department stores.
Okay.
I think that's absolutely major.
Really?
Major. Yes.
Okay.
I think that's because remember Sephora was with JCPenney for a long time.
They were. And I did feel like it was not a match with JCPenney, like the type of Sephora customer, but you're telling me that it is a match with Kohl's. I'm surprised.
I think so. I think, Kohl's has always had, I guess JCPenney too, but I don't know. JCPenney has just always felt so old. Kohl's does feel a little younger, and I think that's going to help attract and then with a Sephora in there, that's going to help attract a younger customer base to be like, oh, well, if I want like this new Tarte cosmetic mascara that they have in Sephora that's also in Kohl's, why don't I check out the shoes or whatever?
Right. So what do you think of the ULTAs in the Target? That's all new, so I don't think we really know yet how well it's doing.
I mean, it's just like it's the same kind of idea. Like it's only going to benefit it's only going to benefit Target. It's only going to benefit ULTA.
Okay. We haven't had the ULTA earnings yet. What do you make? What do you make of like the beauty side? Because we've talked a lot about apparel, talked a little bit about furniture, sporting goods, but beauty has really lagged. And then everybody was wearing masks, and we didn't need to buy lipstick or anything. We were buying mascaras, but no lipsticks. And now masks have kind of come off, but then they're kind of back on. And I don't know, like what's happening. There doesn't seem to be a big trend maybe in beauty still, or is there?
I think it's skincare is going to still dominate for sure.
Okay.
If anything taught us, like if we learned anything last year, is that we need to take better care of our skin with masks on, because mask knee is a real thing. And that's only going to continue, I think, to dominate. But in makeup, rather, I think the next trend is going to be like, it's going to be, well, natural looking makeup or like bare face makeup has been hot for a while now, but like I'm sure you've seen products like skin tints or face oils, like or tinted face oils. So a base that doesn't, like, you're not putting stage makeup on every day, right? You're putting like a light blemish covering base and then a little bit of concealer and some mascara. Like that's going to be, I think, the makeup trends.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to see. I do own ULTA in my own personal portfolio for numerous years, but it's had its ups and downs. And then recently it did say that, you know, they thought they might see the slower growth going forward was one of their guidance, you know, single digits growth rate. And, you know, the street didn't like that. Like, oh no, single digits. So, but the shares are back up close to their highs again because of this whole retail story that we've been talking about on this podcast. Like if you know, basically everything is hot right now. So, and if you're going to have the super strong, you know, holiday season, then even ULTA should do well during that type of environment. So basically everyone, even the down and outs should do well in this kind of environment. And there are still some of those. Okay, so what else haven't we covered? I guess, you know, basically there are these other cheap, you mentioned Abercrombie, they're pretty cheap right now as well. Like I think they're trading around 10 times. So they're cheap on a PE basis at least. We haven't heard their earnings report yet either, so we're waiting on that one. Chico's is kind of an interesting story. So that ticker is CHS. And they own Chico's, but they also own White House Black Market and Soma.
Oh, they do? Oh, yeah. I did not know they owned White House Black Market.
Yeah. And they've always had very good management in there, but the shares did go down to $1 last year, even though they were like earnings positive. And so their followers used to be like disgusted on StockTwits, like so many times saying like, what is wrong with the street? Can't they see that there's good things going on at this chain? It's not struggling that bad. And now the shares have surged up to $6. So they're up 339% year to date. So kudos again to those on StockTwits who were believers in the Chico's and White House Black Market story. And they're supposed to make 18 cents this year, 44 cents next year. So they're on the right track. Shares are now trading at 36 times. However, they're not as cheap. Obviously, if you got them at the $1, you are very happy. But Chico's has always been clothes and accessories for older women, like 60s and 70s. And a lot of their marketing is geared towards the 60s and 70s. But I told you this story before we went on the podcast that I read an article recently that said that their average customer age has declined by 10 years during the pandemic because people were buying their clothes apparently at like consignment shops and like Goodwill. And then they're like, what's this Chico's place? Like younger people were getting them at these places. And so they liked the clothes and they started shopping at the actual store. So I've never heard of this development in all of my retail, you know, observations over the years. So that's like just tremendous. Like I don't even know. It opens up a whole new category of shoppers to them. If they go younger, they can get, you know, 30s, 40s, 50-year-olds. That's huge for them. And maybe we are seeing that now in what's happening with their, you know, comps and things. But it's something to watch. They started to put younger models into their marketing now because why wouldn't you? Yes, of course you should.
I'm like browsing. I'm like looking on their website right now. I just like clicked on like the general clothing page and like, it's not, I mean, the models like are women my age.
Yeah. They've definitely decided that they can go. I mean, if their customer is that person, then they will go there, right? So
Right.
that's also an interesting thing, that some of these retailers are finding new audiences that they otherwise might not have known about because of the weird pandemic buying patterns and things that happened. So yeah, Chico's, I'll be watching that one when they report. I think they're after Black Friday and all that. They're still coming down the pike. And White House Black Market has been a real strong performer, even during the pandemic, even with the stores closed. And they haven't been real promotional. So they're able to hold the line. The demand must be there, and they're on trend with their stuff. So yeah. So that's another one. Another one I really do like is Deckers, ticker DECK. They reported a couple weeks ago already, so we know it's good. That's UGG and Hoka 11. So they just have those two strong brands now. They're killing it on the shoe side, and they're going to have a fantastic holiday season, but it's just a little too pricey for me. I've been like waiting for some kind of pullback, and it's trading at 28 times. So I can't stomach it for a value investor, but I do still love those brands, and they're on trend too. And they have real cute things outside of shoes. They have some cute jackets this holiday season and things like that you forget about that UGG does well. So that's also one to keep a watch on. So I don't know. Do you have any favorites that you're watching?
So full disclosure, I didn't mention this when I mentioned Target earlier. I do own that in my personal portfolio.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. But I mean, I love Target. I mean, Target. I just think that any type of pullback, like when they had like that big earnings pullback 2 weeks ago, last week, I also own it in the income investor. I just think that any time when Target pulls back a little bit, it's always a good buying opportunity. As for personal, I mean, Nordstrom, I think, is another example of something not clicking with share price and value and Wall Street, where as a consumer, I love it. I don't own it as the stock. I've been a loyal shopper for years, as I told you, Tracy. But something just isn't clicking with like what Wall Street perceives management to be doing, and like certain like sales trends. I don't know what's happening over there, but I wish that some analysts could see the good that Nordstrom is doing. It's always like a pleasant shopping experience, as like the store on Michigan Avenue here in Chicago. It's like beautiful. They're putting a Gucci mini store on the first floor along with Prada and Louis Vuitton. There's a bar on the second floor, which is the men's floor. There's a restaurant on the fourth floor. It's just like a lovely place to shop. And most of their stores are like that. They have that type of like mid to high end environment and feel to them.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. But another one of my favorites is what we talked about earlier, is Lulu.
Okay. Yeah. You really can't bet against it right here. It's just the brand.
I also think, sorry to cut you off, but Revolve again. I think that's such a unique growth story, and there's just so much opportunity for Revolve to expand. And like they're just like a marketplace powerhouse. I know they just went IPO a few years ago, but like any hot trend, any hot brand for men and women, you can find on Revolve. They have everything, and they have that luxury side now. It's called Forward.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Are they US only? Do you know? Like with the online site? Is it only
that is
US
a good
shoppers?
question.
I wonder. I don't know. I never bothered to look. Do they have any brick and mortar? They might. Do they? No.
I don't.
So they're only online as like a marketplace.
Only online. Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know, because that's kind of the up and coming retail area too, that most people don't think about, are these kind of online marketplace scenarios, which Macy's is trying to get into itself,
Yes.
but Revolve already is it. So yeah, maybe some of these, there'll be some consolidation. Maybe some of these retailers will be buying
Maybe.
out some of the other ones just to get the online marketplace quickly. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Are there any retailers that you would stay away from here? I'm trying to think myself if there's any where I'm like, ew, I hate that one. Actually, one of the few that I'm not a huge fan of, because I feel like it is overpriced here, even though I love it, is Nike. Ticker NTE. Yeah, just because they did warn about the supply chain issues. Vietnam is still not good. They have reopened the factories, but they have labor shortages and other things going on. And now the COVID cases are on the rise again there. So we don't really know what's going to be happening the next couple of months. And they already warned that through the middle of next year, middle of 2020, they'd have supply chain issues. But the street didn't, it briefly sold off the shares, but now they're back up to highs again. And I just feel like it's overvalued for what is actually happening. And I need it to come down a lot more before I would be interested in it, even though I love the Nike brand. I feel like it's still, going full steam, but it's just, there's too many unknowns there, which they've admitted are unknowns, but the street is ignoring it. So I can't buy into that one. So
I guess another retailer kind of going off that maybe I have more questions about versus like maybe to avoid is Gap Inc.
Okay.
I think that it's a little bit like Macy's, right? Where they just haven't been hitting the mark for a long time. And then the pandemic really crushed them. But I just, again, like Gap, like the styles and trends at Gap and Banana just aren't working yet again.
Yes.
And I just want to like go into like a management meeting and just be like, what are you doing? Like,
right.
Like Gap is like, yes, like they have like the collaboration with Kanye, and they have like the Yeezy sweatshirts like sold out within minutes, and like now you can buy them for hundreds and hundreds of dollars on resale sites. But that's like a fluke, because like the rest of their product is, I mean, this is 100% my opinion. It's not good. It's not cute. It doesn't fit well. It's like it's styles that were on like that were trendy 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what's going on. I feel like not even Old Navy can hold them up, and I'm waiting for them to spin off Athleta into like their own, because that's good. I feel like once that, I mean, it has like kind of sort of taken off. Lulu is definitely their biggest competitor, but I really think Athleta could be like a powerhouse if more attention was put on that brand.
For sure. I mean, that's their hidden gem for sure.
Yeah.
Old Navy, it kind of has ups and downs, but it has some quarters where it does real well.
Yes, right.
So on what it does. Yeah. But the other two, I'm in agreement. Like even Banana, I mean, I've looked because we're all buying apparel. It's understandable that Banana had a horrible year last year because a lot of the apparel guys did. And so we're not going into the office. We weren't going to parties. So I had no reason to shop at Banana, but some of that has come back. And so now I do have reasons, and they aren't giving me the product. I agree.
No, 100%. Because the product right now, it's like an ode, like all of like their big collection, their fall winter collections, like an ode to their OG heritage collection.
Yeah.
It's very much like safari inspired, neutral.
I know, it's all tan.
It's all tan.
It's all tan.
Beige is on trend right now. Where it's like, but like after a year like last year, maybe I don't want to wear camel all the time. Maybe I want to wear fuchsia. Like, I know, crazy idea. Great colors, crazy. But maybe, just maybe, like I don't want to be in gray.
I know. Part of the problem with it is for all the retailers is that, they had to come up with these collections like over a year ago.
Yeah.
But still, they all have the same issue, and they have been consistently like just behind the ball the last couple
Totally.
of years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Gap because of Athleta, somewhat Old Navy, but the other two chains, you just don't know what's going to happen. They haven't reported earnings yet either, so we're going to see. But how badly will they be dragged down from Banana? Sure. They did close a decent number of Banana stores in the last year, though. Remember, they tried, they really closed ranks there on that one.
3 or 4 at one point on Michigan Avenue alone.
Yeah.
That now there's thankfully only one.
Yeah. So that's definitely going to be one to watch. So, and those shares have pulled back. They're down about 12% in the last 3 months because other people have been getting nervous as well about what might go on there. They're still pretty cheap. I think they're trading around 11 or 12 times forward earnings right here. So it's not too bad. But yeah, the excitement from the reopen trade that they had earlier in the year has faded now. And so we will see what's going on with them. They do tell us the comps now on Athleta, I believe, which I'm surprised because forever, for the whole entire history of that brand, they've never told us like what the comps are, but they have started telling us, probably because it's big enough and it's the best thing they have going. Yes. So wouldn't you want to like trumpet it? I would. So yeah, so they've started. So that's something to watch on this upcoming earnings report. Okay, so we've covered a lot. There's a lot going on with retail, and it's definitely one of the hotter industries, and it's going to be going into 2022. So I'm sure we'll be discussing it again in 2022. Who are the winners? Who are the ones that are still going to have the momentum? But it certainly is an interesting area here on the reopen trade, or even just a hot economy type of trade. So let me recap all the tickers. We mentioned a lot here, so this could take a moment. So we talked about Lululemon, ticker LULU. Levi's is LEVI. American Eagle, AEO. Macy's is just the M for Macy's. Revolve is RVLV. V is in Victor, RVLV. Urban Outfitters, which has Anthropologie and Urban and Free People, is URBN. Abercrombie and Fitch is ANF. Chico's with White House Black Market is CHS. Nordstrom's JWN. Target TGT. Ulta ULTA. Deckers is UGG, and Hoka 11. Deckers is DEC, DECK. Nike is NKE. The Gap is GPS. Dick's Sporting Goods is DKS. Williams and Sonoma, WSM. Kohl's, KSS. Is that it? I think that's close to just about everything we mentioned.
Yeah. I think you might, I don't know if you mentioned, I think we mentioned Best Buy, BBY.
Oh, yeah, we did. BBY in there too.
Okay.
They haven't reported
briefly.
yet,
It's a brief mention. Yeah, they report,
briefly. Computers, we don't want to forget that hot area.
They report tomorrow. I own that in income.
Okay,
so.
Excellent. And you own Target in your own personal portfolio. Any other ones in your personal portfolio?
No, just Target is my only retailer.
Okay, I own Ulta and I own Lulu and Williams and Sonoma. But I won't.
After this conversation, I'm like, I need to, put my money where my mouth is and maybe look at Lulu for my personal portfolio.
Maybe at the 62 times, that would be bold, but
it would be bold.
It still keeps struggling along here. I don't know. I bought it a couple of years ago because I get asked this a lot of times, like, you're a value investor, how can you own that stock?
Sure.
And it was cheaper when I bought it. So am I buying it again here at 62 times? I cannot. But on a pullback, maybe I could.
Maybe.
So, but it is hard to deny what what they're doing and how dominant they are. And, everybody can make fun of the yoga pants all they want, but men's is now like 20 or 30% of their revenue. And so the men's side is just as hot as the women's.
It's just as hot. And
yeah.
I would say if anyone who questions Lululemon's yoga pants, just go in the store and try them on, and you will be won over. Because
right.
Yes, they make obviously like men wear yoga pants too. So I'm pretty sure they have that option in the men's section.
Yeah.
For anyone listening and you're questioning, you're like, well, what's all the buzz? What's all the hullabaloo? Just go in.
Right.
You'll
go try on some stuff.
Go try
and
on.
The shirts, the men's shirts are also quite good. We have some anecdotal testimony from here at Zach's that the men's shirts, especially the golf shirts, are very good. So there you go. Okay, so that's all for this episode. But again, we will be covering retail again in 2022 because it's super hot and there's so much going on. We didn't even cover a lot of things that were going on. So we will talk about it again, and you don't want to miss a single episode of the Zach's Market Edge. We're bringing them to you every week here at Zach's, especially into the end of the year, where we're going to have, what to look for in 2022. Where are the hot stocks and industries? And so you want to be sure to subscribe. You can get us on Apple Podcasts. We're on Amazon Music. We're on Spotify. Anywhere you can get podcasts, you can get us. And I'll see you again next time with some more stocks.
This material is being provided for informational purposes only, and nothing herein constitutes investment, legal, accounting, or tax advice, or a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold a security. Do not act or rely upon the information and advice given in this podcast without seeking the services of competent and professional legal, tax, or accounting counsel. Publication and distribution of this podcast is not intended to create, and the information contained herein does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. No recommendation or advice is being given as to whether any investment or strategy is suitable for a particular investor. It should not be assumed that any investments in securities, companies, sectors, or markets identified and described were or will be profitable. All information is current as of the date herein and is subject to change without notice. Any views or opinions expressed may not reflect those of Zach's Investment Research as a whole.